Hi guys, welcome back to Ready the Heart. We don't come again with another update about some of the trending things when they go on for our country. RUFIA don't drop more highlight on some of the important things when they go on for this country, like wetin happen to the youth copper on how Tinubu and his supporters dey threaten her, and currently the matter when they go on for Rivers State. Make una watch the video and feel free to drop your opinion.
Be careful about politicians. They always do things when it favors them. And when it doesn't favor them, they say otherwise. All of them are the same. All of them do things in the same way. The truth is, when it's in their favor, they speak. When it's not in their favor, they speak. When it's in their favor, they speak. When it's not in their favor, they speak. They cast aspersions on their enemies. This was the same RUFIA that did cast aspersions on people like Peter Obi and other people, politicians. Today, the song is different. This was the same RUFIA that said he was going to go the whole hog with President Tinubu. And he did. He supported him. So he has every right to feel betrayed. He has every right to feel betrayed. But all of this he's doing or saying against the APC as we speak today. The question is it because things did not favor him? What if he had been given that ministerial position? Will he say all of this? And the truth is, we cannot allow this continue. We need to speak up against politicians. We need to look them in the eye and speak truth to power. And that's why if I get a chance to interview Mr. RUFIA, all I will point out to him will be, but you said you'll stay on in the APC at some point. So is it because you never got anything? That's why you're doing all of this now against the APC. This is just speaking facts. This is not speaking for the APC. Because you know my opinions about the APC. From President Buhari ruining the fortunes of the economy, bringing us a lot of inflation where we're growing in 2015, to now, where there's a lot of hardship on the lives of the people. Despite the fact that food prices, yes, some arguments are out that they're going down, but has it gone back to the numbers we used to have before, this administration came in? So when people make the argument that they are going down when you compare them to last year's prices. People like Governor RUFIA have enjoyed so much from this country. From being BP chief, to minister, to governor, 2 times 8 years. They will talk because this is the only time in the last 2 to 3 years they are not getting what they want. So I'm speaking up. I'm telling Nigerians to be careful. Secondly, all this coalition they're trying to do, as long as all of them wants to become president, it will be very easy for President Tinubu to manipulate their coalition. As long as all of them wants to become president. So whatever coalition that they have, as long as their personal greed matters, then everybody will be in double jeopardy. So the question we should ask everybody, all these politicians, is the fact that, are they ready to look in the interest of Nigeria? Or not just ready to think about themselves alone? And also another point I want to bring up this morning is the fact that hope we know that most of the problems we complained about in the last election as regards INEC, which we ought to fix in electoral reforms. We have not done them. So if we do not fix those problems in electoral reforms, we are not anywhere near having elections that will be better than that we had in 2023. Till date, I'm not sure the lawmakers have started pushing those bills forward for President Tinubu to assent. And President Tinubu wants to assent on those bills in an election that he's part of. Because remember what President Muhammadu Buhari did back in the days when he was sending those electoral bills to assent on. Obviously, he gave one reason. He gave one story not to assent on them. As long as we do not fix the electoral reforms that we talked about after the 2023 elections, things around INEC, things around BVAS, then we're just joking. And it's going to be easier for President Tinubu to get in with the fact that he's got power of incumbency. I think these are the things we should really talk about. And I'll be doing this political awareness from time to time leading up, to the elections. So please share this. Also, I want to talk about the NYSC. I'm speaking up for that lady that you said she should go and delete what she said. I'd like to ask that NYSC official, are you not suffering from the inflation? Can't a citizen, because a citizen is part of the NYSC, so they can't speak up about the government and criticize the government? You see, this is the level of dictatorship Nigeria has descended into. And everybody's fearing for their job one way or the other. So we can't criticize the country. When President Tinubu does well, I will say it. Where he has not done well, I'll say it. Inflation has been an all-time high. He says, yes, food prices are going down. But the food prices going down can't be compared to the initial food prices we had before this administration came in. So let us look at that strongly. Petrol prices have gone up. You also argue, yes, they are coming down. They are coming down because international prices are coming down. Go and check the price of Brent on the international scene. Go and check the Pratt pricing. That's what is happening. But when he got in, the price were over 100 naira, thereabout. It took them to what they are today. Remove subsidies that really impacted and hurt a lot of people. One of the things they told us was that once they remove subsidy, it will open room for local refiners to continue. Till today, hope you know we are still importing heavily. Some will argue with you that it's a free market, so we have a right to import. But we spent over 15 trillion importing, even more than what we spent in the last year. And these are the facts. President Tinubu has devalued our currency. I was talking to a businessman the other day. They took loans at 700 naira to the dollar. Today, dollar has gone to 1.8, has gone to 1.5. They even pay interest on top of it. They say they are correcting the wrongs and the anomalies. But we're also seeing a lot of shenanigans happening. So, when you say that NYSC lady should not speak, I'd like to ask that NYSC official that called her, and it was a good thing she put that call out there, is she not also suffering in this Nigeria? We in the media, we are affected. Companies, media spending have dropped. We are all suffering. President Tinubu's government is hard on people. Some will argue that inflation has come down. They just rebase the way they calculate inflation. And go to the market. Cost of things are still high. Fruits still on the increase. Some packaged items still on the increase. So we should be careful. We should situate those things properly. There are some things I support President Tinubu for. Yes, like the tax bill. But I would also want him to look at the other opposition against the tax bill and incorporate them when the final bill comes out. The lady here is saying she's bought a crate of egg for 6,500. Since some things have gone up, I don't even dare buy them in bulk any longer. Can't remember when last I bought a crate of egg. So a lot of things are still on the increase. So we should situate these things. Most of the produced materials, like milk, like food packs and things like that, those things are still expensive. I mean, I do a lot of work in charity with my charitable organizations, and we have to buy some of these food packs to go give to people. And it's quite a lot. Most of my budget for charitable ventures at the Osini Center has been up. So we need to situate these things properly. Yes, you say he gives student loans. Yes, but a lot of people have had complaints that how pervasive have they been. So the moral of my story is, very soon, politicians will come and promise you heaven and earth. They said insecurity has improved. No. Nigeria is now the 6th most terrorized country. You know, I was the one that brought to the fore cases of insecurity in places like Okpekpe. Somebody sent me a message, Okpekpe in Edo State, Ogboha in Eson area. There are a lot of activities of criminals there, kidnapping of people and all of that. So insecurity has not abated. Then you have the mass disrespect of the rights of people. You have the mass disrespect of the rights of people. Air Force officials went to beat up IKEDC. And when we cast aspersions on these people, we know what we're saying, because they have not done well. Till date, the army is still saying, we're investigating. Yes, we believe in the investigation, but we must also see it come out well. We also had a video that made the rounds last year of an army official, of a top army officer, beg your pardon, beating up a civilian. The case was also reported. I think the part of investigation is on, but we've not seen the end. But in all of this, please, I also see that there's an affectation. I mean, there's a love for military to come back. Please, despite how terrible civilian government is under this administration and other administrations, because all of them were pretty much similar, civilian government is the best. I can see that a lot of Nigerians are now celebrating the likes of Traore. That's a military government. Any government where you are still denied your rights is not still the best form of government. So I will not be in charge of those that celebrate the likes of Burkina Faso under Traore and the likes. A democratic government where people respect the tenets of democracy is still the way to go. I do not believe that Africa needs a very strong, high-handed government where people's rights are suppressed. We can have a system that works. Yes, you can say democracy is a Western construct, it's not going to work here. But we can have a true democratic leader that has integrity. And it has worked. And we have seen this thing work. I mean, our leaders, our forefathers were way respected. They were democratically elected. And it did work. They made a lot of impact. I think it's just the caliber of leaders we have and the politicians we have. And that's why we need to take our time to say this thing. That's why I'm talking about Mr. RUFIA. I've got nothing against him, but I'm just trying to set the record straight. That the same party he sold to us is now the party he's saying that's not good enough. The question is, didn't he do his due diligence before he sold the APC to Nigerians then? So all of a sudden he wants to step away because it doesn't favor him and say he's some hero. All of a sudden the people he casts aspersions on are the people he wants to be friends with today. And all of this in the space of 2 years. Even if he had gotten the ministerial appointment, so will he have decided to walk away from this government? I'm not saying APC government under Tinubu has gotten everything right. They've gotten some things right. They've gotten many things wrong. And I'm not speaking up for them. I'm just trying to hold Mr. RUFIA accountable. I'm just trying to hold Mr. RUFIA accountable. But let's see how all of this pans out. It's going to be an interesting long ride. Because he still has his back and forth with Mr. Nuhu. I come to think of it, a lot of people fail to realize that. When I see the fight between Mr. RUFIA and Mr. Nuhu Ribadu, both men used to be very good friends before now. A lot of water might have passed under the bridge, but it's interesting times for us as a country. So a lot of Nigerians are suffering. They're not enjoying the dividends of democracy. But I will still always argue democracy is still the best form of government. And for that NYSC lady, we must call on the NYSC authorities. Nothing must happen to that lady. We will raise our voices because she has a right to speak. And for those pushing the argument, she's a government employer. No, she's a government employer because the laws demand statutorily that everybody must go through NYSC. I also went through NYSC. But if you are feeling the pain as a citizen of a country, despite the fact that you're NYSC, you have every right to speak. You have every right to speak. She's a citizen too. A citizen must have every right to speak. I don't believe she should leave Nigeria, but I believe we should call the authorities to account, and we should hang it around their necks and say everything must be well with that lady. And also another thing I'd like to talk about. I'd like to share with you a report this morning. And this is the report. It's an exclusive report. You might not have seen it. It's an exclusive report. You might not have seen it yet. I hope you also know there's this story by Daily Trust that says bandits demand 30 million to free Quranic recitation winner. So, is that the fact that security is improving? But I'll read you this very interesting report that says outcome of an inaugural meeting of Independent Judicial Accountability Panel, IJAP, held in Abuja from 11th of March to 14th of March 2025. Action 8, and kudos to them, has been implementing Project Citizens-led engagement on judicial accountability in post-election justice delivery in Nigeria since 2023, supported by Ford Foundation. So it's still funded by a lot of foreign backers. And this panel consists of renowned justices, legal practitioners, with a track record of transparency in the legal matters. Justice Mojido Wade, yesterday retired, Justice Chinwe Yozeba, Justice Olodotun Adefokwe, very forthright judge. She was the one that gave that court of appeal judgment in favor of Nnamdi Kanu. You know, Professor Okechu Ibianu, Professor Juma Aldi, Mr. Mark Imonia Mariri, that's of AIT, Professor Sherap Tosha, Andrew Mamedi, Professor Fumi Olukeya. In line with his mandate, IJAP held his inaugural meeting, and they considered some cases, the Rivers State House of Assemblies and Speaker versus government case. So, regarding the Rivers State judgment of the House of Assembly and Speaker versus government, the Supreme Court correctly held the Federal High Court had jurisdiction over the case regarding the judgment delivered in All Progressive versus Rivers State Independent Commission, and the Supreme Court correctly held that Federal High Court had jurisdiction. However, the court missed an opportunity to clarify key legal positions regarding the procedure for local government election, which the Court of Appeal extensively dealt with. Also, the court granted all reliefs based on affidavit evidence alone without addressing legal interpretations thoroughly. Lawyer must prioritize diligence and truthfulness instead of pursuing frivolous matters in courts. That's the report of a panel of independent judges reviewing the Supreme Court judgment in Rivers State and giving their recommendations. This is also in line with some of the things Professor Chidi Odinkalu has talked about as regards that judgment. And that's why I think now, for the sake of national development, every judgment made or given must be reviewed by many quarters in society, especially the legal luminaries. And we must be able to speak truth to power. Because in this kind of system, accountability is the order of the day. And we must have that level of accountability, because if we do not have that level of accountability, our society is not going to move forward. So we must have that level of accountability across the board. And Mr. Wiki has come out to say that he was taken out of context as regards what he said about the Ijaws. We all heard him loud and clear, what he said about the Ijaws. All we would like to say is, please, we should not drag any ethnic baiting into the affairs and into what is happening in our country. Let us keep the peace. Some people sent me what happened around, I think it's Alabama or something, or Alabama area, yesterday in Rivers State, when he went to give a rally of some sort in the Niger area. We do not need any back and forth with citizens and police. You know why? Because all these politicians are the same. And they forget that things don't last forever. What matters the most is the legacies they leave, the lives of people. And I think that's what they should focus on. Today we still talk about Lateef Jakonde. We still talk about Awolowo for free education. And it's the legacies they leave. And we must be careful. So from time to time, please, I'll be coming on this platform, giving you my 1 cent on political brief. And the truth is, it's not to indict anybody, it's just to set the record straight. You know, there's some things I admire about some politicians, there's some things I don't admire about them. But all of them, I all feel, they feel very entitled, they're all the same. I am happy in one breath about the fact that NIGERiA is taking on the same APC government, because he's another strong voice. But we must also hold him accountable by saying, you were also that person that sold the same government to us. Is it because things are not working now? That's why you are saying all of this. You are griping, you are crying. And one thing they keep saying is, oh, I've moved on from the ministerial thing and all of that. But then stop talking about it. You still talk about it every time. And it makes some of us feel that you're jakoroing. So I'm happy that you're holding this government accountable. It's your own internal fight because it doesn't favor us. Me, I'm always happy when politicians start to hold themselves accountable. But another thing I'm also telling Nigerians is that they are doing this because things are not going their ways, not because they love the people so much. It's about personal interest for them. So we must never forget that.
I genuinely feel so overwhelmed, and I feel like
so
if a lot of Nigerians come out and start speaking on what we are actually going through.
So this is what the NYC girl said
in the government, don't you guys think? And this video, I just want to say to our president, I don't know if there have been any other president that is terrible, but you are such a terrible president. It is so hard. So I'm coming from the supermarket where I went to get foodstuffs, and everything has gone up again. It's just like every single week prices increase. I want to know, what is the government doing about this increment? Is there going to be a particular time where prices will stop going up? Is there going to be a particular time where things are going to go back? Guys, why am I going to get a crate of egg and they're telling me it is 6.5? It doesn't make any sense that egg will cost 6.5. Like, I literally can't remember when egg used to cost 800. And I'm so overwhelmed because leaving by myself. And not just that, after I left the supermarket and I got home, my security is bringing NEPA bill, and NEPA bill has gone up by 2 times. Like, it's insane. I can't keep up with these bills. I am so overwhelmed and I'm so exhausted. Every single money that I have been making, I'm using it to pay bills. I don't even get to live properly. The craziest thing was, you want to go out to a certain location with your friends, and Uber is about 25,000. Like, even Uber, that we can't even take Uber. It is crazy. Like, why are things so expensive? And let's not even Lagos stinks. Lagos smells like shit. If you say, okay, I want to take a walk, I'm depressed, let me just take a walk, you can't even take a walk. Like, the place smells like crazy.
Lagos does smell like shit.
Does an entire state smell like this? And what is the government doing about the bad smell? Everything is just so overwhelming. You want to start up a business, and now you have to take a loan to start up a business, and the loan, you don't even know if you can actually repay it, because in the business, I don't know, I'm just so tired.
My dear, you can't even take a loan, because if you take a loan today, depending on the bank, interest rate is about 20, 26. It comes down to about close to 30%. So forget it.
Like, why is no one saying anything about it?
No business can make a meaningful headway when you are taking a loan and interest rate is like close to 30%. No business can make meaningful headway. You'll be a slave to the banks.
Being an NYSC copper, there's nothing beneficial about this whole NYSC thing. The money I spend on transportation is just more than the alawi the government gives me. Like, it doesn't, I can't keep up. Like, I'm so tired of this bill and I can't keep up. I am overwhelmed and I'm tired, I'm exhausted. It's too much, and I wish that we would start calling the government out heads on. For example, Tinubu, you are a terrible president. Like, what are you doing to help us? What are you doing to help the economy? You are so terrible. I'm so sick and tired of Nigerians acting like we are strong, and they say, oh, Nigerians, we are actually very strong. Oh, no matter how much they increase things, we still chest it. No, it is not cute. We are cowards. That is a cowardly behavior. You don't stand to ask people, oh, why is this expensive? For example, MTN, what the fuck is even going on? Literally, I spend over like 20,000 on data in a week, and I'm not even joking. 1.5 data cannot even last me for an entire day. I have to do 1.5 like 2 times a day, which is like 3,000 a day. It is too much. Like, what are you guys doing about it? Like, what is happening? I'm tired of paying bills. I feel like I don't have anything. I feel like I don't have any achievement to call my own.
Okay, so forget the bad language. I mean, most of the things the lady said are frustrations we all share every day. So why would the NYC now try to say she should go and remove what she put online? You see, people will share frustrations when they're upset. People will cast aspersions when they're upset. People will curse out when they're upset. You know what it means for somebody to curse out? It's from a place of pain. It's from a place of pain. See, if things were good and the government was good, people would also pray from a place of joy. So it's well within her right. At first, what the NYC official that called her, and I think we should get the name of the NYC official. What the NYC official that called her failed to realize that she's a Nigerian first before anything. She's talking about her own personal frustrations. She has every right. And those are the things democracy offers you. Those that are saying military days, I mean, you have no idea of how terrible military days were. You can say things are better. You have no idea of the suppression. I remember my military days were always saying, Ogrileti. I mean, the world have ears. You were taken away. You were taken to Gulag. I think for all of you that keep saying military days should come back, maybe one of these days, I will maybe explain to you what Franco Menka's Gulag was all about. When they say Franco Menka, you can Google that name. And what was done to people. You see, any government that gives a lot of power in the hands of military is a suicidal government. It's not the way to go. The only reason why you are saying democracy is not working is because you have bad leaders that manipulate the system. And that's why I say shine your eyes to this political class. And you also stop indulging them by saying, I will vote for this or that. It's because they give you money. No. Ask them the tough questions. You have the power in you to disrupt the electoral system. So please, let's bury that and perish the idea of a military government. It's not going to work. A lot of you that are saying that, have you ever voted in any election? So it starts from you. If there were over 90 million people in the last election register, or close to 90 million people, I don't know the exact numbers, and you did not vote, you can't blame you can't blame the government alone. What about you not voting in the last elections? Why didn't you vote? My vote should not count. Do you know that some people that came out to vote alone, you can see how they changed the electoral paradigm in Lagos before some people now started oral politics. And they started Babasokwe crazy. So please, all of this political awareness is key. Please. It is well. God will bless all of us. Most of this conversation will also continue on my show by 9 o'clock on VOP. Some of these musings I have will be played back also on the radio on VOP 90.3 FM. So we'll also talk there, we take calls. It is well. It is well. Elections are coming, we'll start these political engagements from time to time. We want the best for our country. APC has done some things right. They've done many things wrong. How can we make it better is the priority.